December can be a really weird month, can't it? I think that if you're even if you're not a teacher, it's a busy month of seeing people and doing things and going places, and then there's like a ton of bank holidays, and then there's that no man's land between Christmas and New Year where nobody knows what's happening. So yeah, let's see what I managed to read. Welcome back, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Katrina and I make bookish content here on this channel every week, and then movie reviews here at the weekend. In the description box below, I will link all of the books that I talked about, and also link my blog and my Goodreads where you can keep track of what I'm reading in between videos. So if you haven't already seen my December TBR, I will leave it linked up above. But essentially, I managed to read 4 books in the month of December, which is a book a week, and I'm happy with, and it helped me to hit my Goodreads goal, even though I kind of fell off the wagon of keeping track on Goodreads, and I really must be a little bit more intentional about doing that. I feel like I'm still kind of chasing my tail from having started school in September, which is, it's not the best place to be in. But yes, let's get to it. So I did 2 physical books and 2 audiobooks, one of which I have as a physical book, and these were on my TBR as well, so that's amazing. So I did Why Mummy Drinks by Jill Sims. This one, if you are interested in my thoughts on it, I read it across a 2-week period, only reading before school, basically. And it's a bit like a flashback episode of your favourite TV show, but I track my reading of it in my Vlogmas videos, so I'll leave my Vlogmas playlist linked for you as well. But I did not know this one was out until I saw it in Costco and got this gorgeous like collector's edition of it in Costco. It is a lush edition. Look at that. How cute is that? And yeah, it's like flashing back to previous Ellen Christmases. I don't think there's anything on the back, just check. No, it's just got the front and the spine. Yeah, previous Ellen Christmases, some of which are funny, some of which are bittersweet. And then it sort of all comes together at the end in a head with like the current Christmas that we kind of flash back and forward to between. And I just really loved this. I really loved this series. This is the first one I've done not on audiobook because I was sitting down enjoying it before school. And I really did enjoy sitting down and reading it before school every day. And because it was a bit of a flashback episode, it was easy to pick up and put down, so the perfect book to read in December. So if you feel like it, earmark this to read next December, because it was a really good time and I really enjoyed it. Highly recommend. And I did the full physical book as a physical book. Now, that week between Christmas and New Year that I just talked about, I read the Christmasaurus and the Naughty List, which again, if you've seen my Vlogmas content, you will see that we exchanged this one. I say exchange this one as a like the Christmas Eve Icelandic book swap. Sit and have this and have chocolate truffles and like hot chocolate or alcoholic. I had this, chocolate truffles and a mulled wine. It was delightful. So I did start reading it on Christmas Eve, and then the majority of the rest of it I actually read on like the 30th and New Year's Eve. And so it is definitely easy to kind of pick up and read. Now, this is because this is a middle grade novel. It is the 3rd in the Christmasaurus series. And if you've seen my December TBR, you will see that this one and the next one were on my December TBR anyway. The next one I also picked up in Costco because I saw it there and it was on a really good offer. I tell you what, bookish people, don't go to Costco. Again, this is a stunning naked book too. There we go. Gorgeous. The Christmasaurus books always have gorgeous end papers as well. And here we've got all the children that are on the naughty list. And then this one was just really fun. This one was also sort of easy to pick up and put down as well, because each sort of child on the naughty list gets their own little section of the book. And so you can read them almost as like standalone stories. Did anyone read when they were younger like stories for naughty children or naughty children stories, and they each had their own little story? And this one is like that. I'm just showing you some of the gorgeous illustrations. They really are so beautiful. And yeah, it was good fun. It's I mean, on paper, literally on paper, it's a long book. It's like a 400-page book, but it's got big text. It's a middle grade book. I read it essentially in 2 big chunks after that first Christmas Eve read. And yeah, I really enjoy this series. I mean, there's nothing beats the first one, but I will talk a little bit more in my January wrap up about the Christmasaurus Christmas Carol, because yeah, read that one in January. First book of 2024, children's book, love it. So there's my 2 physical books. And then the book that I did as an audiobook that I have as a physical book, this is The Long Game by Elena Arma. And this one, she's the author of The Spanish Love Deception and The American Roommate, and this proof copy was sent to me for review, but I wanted to read a book by her anyway because I'd seen all the hype around her, and so this kind of gave me the push that I needed. It is an adult romance. We can see the log cabin featured in the book here, and our kind of like enemies to lovers, or almost like rivals to lovers, because this is a bit of a sports romance as well. So it's a spicy new story from the queen of slow burn romance. Definitely a slow burn romance. If you're a fan of He Falls First, Grumpy by Grumpy, enemies to lovers, small town, sports romance and dual point of view, then you'll fall in love with The Long Game. Now, definitely a fan of enemies to lovers, like a bit of spice in my romance, do love a dual point of view. However, this one felt a little bit like too much of a slow burn for me. Don't get me wrong, by the time we got to some of the spicy scenes, they were very much built up and they were very spicy, and I liked that about them. But I just don't feel like this was actually the book for me, even though I do like some of those things listed. I love a sports underdog story, and so I thought I might like the sports theme of this one. But I don't know if it's because there were sort of children involved, so it was a bit too like my everyday job. I just didn't click with it like I thought I was going to, and found myself, as much as I wanted to go ahead and pick up Why Mummy Drinks at Christmas, this one I was like, oh, okay, I'm putting the audiobook on now. When's it going to end? And so I was reading the 2 over the same period, and I think maybe if I'd just been reading this one on its own, or I'd had a chunk of time where I was like maybe doing stuff in the house and listening to this one, I'd be a little bit more invested. But I think rather than being the book, I do think it was me. It just didn't kind of didn't hit the buttons that I needed it to hit at the time. It definitely does everything it says on the back. And I finished it. If it had been that bad, I wouldn't have finished it, but this just wasn't the book for me. And then the other romance book that I read in the month of December is a book that I actually started reading in the month of August. And in the month of August, I just felt like maybe it was the wrong time to be reading this book, and so I would come back to it later because I literally read 50% of it in the month of August. So I came back to it in the month of December thinking, okay, it's the season to fall in love. It's, it's a quick read because it's quite a short book. And I read The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laurie Gilmore. This is definitely giving all sorts of Gilmore Girl vibes here. And I could not tell you now, having finished this not that long ago, like what happened in this book. Yeah, you see, you've got the cafe there, and there's some people, and there's a cat, and there's pumpkin spice. There is a book club. It's a bit of an enemies to lovers type of thing, but there's some stupid miscommunication, and there's some people that you don't really feel that invested in because I don't think the characters were that well developed. This book was not for me, and I should have just left it at the 50% and not carried on. It's an adult romance, and that's all I really want to say about it, because there isn't an awful lot that I can say about it because I just was not that invested in it. So there are the 4 books that I read in the month of December. Couple of super Christmassy ones, couple of not. And it's funny that I preferred the non-romance books over the 2 pure romance books that I read. I mean, I'm a massive fan of a rom-com anyway, and I prefer that to a straight romance, but I do enjoy a dual perspective, and I do enjoy an enemies to lovers, and so I was really hoping that I was going to love those other books, but I just didn't. It weren't for me. But please do Let me know in comments what you read, if anything, in the month of December. It's a difficult time to fit in some reading, very much so. I think I was sort of reliant on a bit more of the Christmas holidays to read than I thought I would, but we're being kind to ourselves and that's okay. And I still read an average of a book a week, which I know is a lot more than some people. So make sure you are subscribed and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future bookish content, because I've got all sorts of top 10s of 2023 coming your way, as well as a lot of things that I want to read in 2024 and some reading vlogs and some general movie review content. So yeah, make sure that bell is hit so you don't miss out on those. If you enjoyed this video, do give it a thumbs up, and yeah, I will see you with my next video. Thanks for watching.